I have long hair. I have had long hair since I was a little girl. My hair is dark and soft. It falls down my back like a quiet river. When I walk, it moves with me. When I turn, it swings in the air. My mom loves my hair. Every night she stands behind me. She holds a wooden comb. She brushes my hair slowly. "Sit still," she says. I am sitting still, I say, but I smile. She sometimes braids my hair before bed. Her fingers move gently. I close my eyes. I feel safe. I feel warm. The room smells like shampoo and home. At school, my friends talk about my hair. "It's so long," Lily says. "It's so pretty," Anna says. I laugh, I say, "It's just hair." But inside I feel proud. My hair is part of me. When I feel nervous, I touch it. When I feel shy, I hide behind it. It feels like a small wall. It protects me. Last Monday, something changed. Our teacher told us a new student would join our class. Her name is May. She is quiet. She likes drawing. When May walked into the classroom, everyone looked at her. She wore a pink hat. It was not cold that day. She sat near the window. She did not look up. She kept her head down. At lunch, I saw her alone. She was drawing a small house. The house had flowers around it. The sun was big and bright. I walked to her. "Hi, I'm Emma," I said. She looked at me. Her eyes were big. They were clear, like glass after rain. "Hi," she said softly. "Why do you wear a hat?" a boy asked from behind me. The classroom became quiet. May touched her hat. She did not answer. Our teacher came over. She spoke gently. "May is very brave," she said. "She is sick. The medicine makes her hair fall out." I felt my heart stop for a second. Hair fall out. I looked at my long hair. It rested on my shoulders. It felt heavy. May smiled a small smile. "It's okay," she said. "It will grow again." But her voice was thin. That afternoon I could not focus on my homework. I kept thinking about her pink hat. I kept thinking about her smile. When school ended, I saw her outside. The wind was strong. It blew her hat off. For 1 second, I saw her head. There was no hair. She quickly picked up the hat. She put it back on. She looked around. Our eyes met. She did not cry. She just smiled again. I walked home slowly. At dinner, my mum talked about her day. I did not say much. "Is something wrong?" she asked. I shook my head. No. But something was different inside me. That night, after my shower, I stood in front of the mirror. My hair was wet. It stuck to my face. It looked darker than usual. I held it in my hands. It was long. It was thick. It was alive. I tried to imagine my head without it. I felt scared. I thought about May. I thought about how she touched her hat. I thought about how she said, "It will grow again." I looked at myself for a long time. Then I asked the girl in the mirror, very quietly, "If it was you, what would you want?" The room was silent. My hair fell over my shoulders again. I did not have an answer yet. But for the first time, I did not see my hair as only something beautiful. I saw it as something important. And that thought did not leave me. The thought stayed with me. On Tuesday morning, I woke up and touched my hair. It was soft and warm from sleep. I sat on my bed and held it in my hands. I thought about May. At school, I looked at her more carefully. She always wore a hat, sometimes pink, sometimes blue. She laughed when other kids told jokes, but she never took off her hat. During art class, we sat together. "I like your drawing," I said. "Thank you," she said. "I like your hair." Her words were simple, but they felt heavy. "Do you miss it?" I asked before I could stop myself. She looked down at her paper. She nodded. "A little," she said. "I miss how it moved." I did not know what to say. After school, I went home and opened my laptop. I typed slowly, Donate hair for sick children. Many pages came up. I saw pictures of girls and boys without hair. Some smiled, some looked tired. I read simple words: wig, cancer, hope. I learned that people can cut their long hair. They can send it to an organization. The organization makes wigs for children who lose their hair. I stared at the screen. Cut their long hair. I touched my own hair again. That night at dinner, I spoke. "Mom," I said, "can people give their hair to others?" My mom looked at me. "Yes," she said slowly. "Some people do that." "Why?" I asked. "To help children who are sick," she said. "Why do you ask?" I took a deep breath. "There is a girl in my class," I said. "She lost her hair." My mom put down her chopsticks. She listened. "I want to help her," I said. My voice was quiet. Mom did not answer right away. "Hair is important to you," she said at last. I nodded. "You have grown it for many years." I nodded again. She reached out and touched my hair. "Are you sure?" I did not know. That night I lay in bed. I turned from side to side. My hair spread across the pillow. I remembered Lily's voice. "Don't cut it. It's your best part." Was it my best part? At school the next day I told Lily about my idea. "You want to cut it?" she almost shouted. "Why?" "To donate it," I said. She looked at me like I was crazy. "But your hair is so pretty," she said. "You will look different." Different. The words stayed in my head all day. In the bathroom, I stood in front of the mirror again. I pulled my hair back with my hands. I tried to imagine it short. My neck looked long. My face looked smaller. I felt afraid. But I also felt something else. I thought about May's drawing, the big sun, the little house. I thought about how she said she missed how her hair moved. My hair moved when I walked. It moved in the wind. It moved when I ran. What if my hair could move again, on someone else's head? That night I went to my mum's room. She was reading. "Mum," I said, "I am not sure. I am scared." She closed her book. "It is okay to be scared," she said. "This is your choice, not mine, not your friends, yours." "What if I regret it?" I asked. She smiled softly. "Hair grows," she said, "but kindness stays." I felt my eyes become warm. I sat next to her. "I keep thinking about it," I said. "The idea does not leave." Mum looked at me for a long time. "Then maybe it is important," she said. I went back to my room. I stood in front of the mirror one more time. I held my hair like a long rope. I whispered to myself, "I want to try." My heart beat fast. I did not know how I would feel after, but I knew one thing. I did not want to look away anymore. Saturday morning came too fast. I woke up early. The room was quiet. Sunlight came through the window. It fell on my pillow. My hair lay around my head like dark water. Today was the day. I sat up slowly. I touched my hair. I tried to remember every feeling. The weight, the softness, the way it covered my back. At breakfast, I did not talk much. Mum looked at me. "We can stop," she said gently. "Even now." I shook my head. "I want to do it," I said. My voice was small but clear. After breakfast, we walked to the hair salon near our home. I had been there many times, but today it looked different. The glass door reflected my long hair one more time. When we walked in, the bell above the door rang. The hairdresser smiled. "Good morning," she said. "Just a trim?" I swallowed. "No," I said. "I want to cut it, short." She looked at my hair. "Are you sure?" "Yes," I said again. This time I felt stronger. Mum explained. She wants to donate her hair. The hairdresser's eyes became soft. "That is very kind," she said. I sat in the big chair. A white cape covered my body. My long hair fell over the cape like a dark curtain. The hairdresser tied my hair into several thick ponytails. I could feel the tight bands on my head. "Are you ready?" she asked. I looked at myself in the mirror. My heart beat so loud, I could almost hear it. I thought about May. I thought about her pink hat. I nodded. The scissors opened. Then, snip. The sound was sharp, clear, final. I felt a sudden lightness on one side of my head. The first ponytail fell into the hairdresser's hand. I stared at it. That was my hair. Years of it. The scissors moved again. Snip, snip, snip. With each cut, something inside me shook. My hands held the sides of the chair. I wanted to cry. I wanted to smile. I did not know which one to choose. Finally, it was done. My hair no longer touched my back. Loose strands fell around my shoulders. The hairdresser began to shape it, shorter, lighter. I watched in silence. When she turned the chair toward the mirror, I saw someone new. My hair was above my shoulders now. My neck was clear. My face looked different, bigger, braver. For a second, I did not speak. "Do you like it?" the hairdresser asked carefully. I blinked. "It's short," I said. Mum came closer. Her eyes were bright. "You look strong," she said. Strong. No one had used that word for me before. The hairdresser placed the cut ponytails on the table. They were thick and dark. They looked like something alive. "Do you want to hold them?" she asked. I nodded. She placed them in my hands. They were heavier than I thought. I hugged them gently. "Thank you," I whispered. I did not know why I said that. Maybe I was thanking my hair. Maybe I was thanking myself. My eyes filled with tears. One tear rolled down my cheek. Mom wiped it away. "It's okay," she said. "You can feel many things at once." I stood up from the chair. My head felt light. The air touched my neck. It felt cold but fresh. When we stepped outside, the wind blew. My short hair moved. It moved differently now, but it still moved. I touched it and smiled a small smile. In my bag, the cut hair rested quietly. It was ready to leave me. It was ready to become hope for someone else. As we walked home, I felt nervous. On Monday, everyone would see me. They would see this new girl. I took a deep breath. For the first time, I understood something. Sometimes courage sounds like scissors. And sometimes it sounds like your own heartbeat, saying, "Keep going." Monday morning felt different. I stood in front of the mirror for a long time. My short hair rested softly around my face. My neck looked longer. My ears showed. I turned my head left, then right. "You are still you," I whispered, but I still felt nervous. At breakfast, Mom smiled at me. "Ready?" I took a deep breath. "I think so." When I walked into school, the hallway felt louder than usual. My shoes made small sounds on the floor. I felt like everyone could hear them. The first person who saw me was Lily. Her eyes became wide. "Oh my gosh," she said, "you really did it." I nodded. She walked around me. "It's so short." "Do you hate it?" I asked before I could stop myself. She looked at me again. "No," she said slowly. "It's just different." Different again. As I walked to my seat, I heard whispers. She cut her hair. Why? It was so long before. My face became warm. I wanted to hide, but I had no long hair to hide behind now. I sat down and opened my book. My hands felt cold. During math class, a boy leaned over. "Did you cut it because you were bored?" he asked. "No," I said quietly. "I donated it." He blinked. "Oh." He turned back to his book. He did not say anything else. At lunch, I carried my tray to a table. I saw May sitting alone again. For a moment, I felt shy. Then I walked toward her. She looked up. Her eyes stopped on my hair. "You cut it," she said softly. Yes, I said. My heart beat fast. I donated it. She did not speak right away. Then she slowly reached out and touched the air near my hair. She did not really touch it. She just looked at it closely. For me, she asked. For children like you, I said. She was quiet. Then she stood up. Before I understood what was happening, she hugged me. She was small and warm. I could feel her shoulders shake a little. Thank you, she whispered. Those 2 words were very light, but they felt heavier than my long hair. I hugged her back. It will grow again, I said, and we both smiled. After that day, something changed inside me. Some students still stared. Some still asked questions. But their voices felt smaller now. When I walked in the hallway, I felt the air on my neck. It reminded me of that moment in the salon. It reminded me of the scissors. I did not feel weak. I felt open. In the bathroom, I looked at myself in the mirror again. I did not see the girl with the pretty long hair. I saw a girl who made a choice. I saw a girl who felt scared, but did not run away. That afternoon, May sat next to me in art class. She drew another house. This time, the girl in the picture had short hair. Is that you? I asked. She nodded. And this one, she said, pointing to another girl with short hair standing beside her. I smiled. That's me. The sun in her drawing looked bigger than before. When the bell rang, we walked out together. The wind blew again. Our hair, hers under her hat, mine above my shoulders, moved in its own way. For the first time, I did not miss my long hair. I felt lighter, not just on my head, but in my heart. Weeks passed. My hair began to grow. Every morning I touched it. It felt soft and new. It did not fall down my back anymore. But it framed my face gently. I no longer stood in front of the mirror for a long time. I did not ask, do I look pretty? I asked, how do I feel today? And most days I felt calm. At school things became normal again. People stopped whispering. They stopped staring. My short hair was not news anymore. But something inside me was still growing. One afternoon, May came to school without her hat. I noticed it right away. She walked slowly into the classroom. Her head was still mostly bare, but there was a thin layer of soft hair, very short, like grass after rain. She looked nervous. Some students stared. I stood up and walked to her. You look great, I said. She touched her head and laughed a little. It's growing, she said. Yes, I smiled. It always does. At lunch, she sat beside me. I want to grow it long one day, she said. You will, I answered. Then she looked at me carefully. Will you grow yours long again? She asked. I thought for a moment. Maybe, I said, or maybe I will cut it again. She looked surprised. Again? If someone needs it, I said. She did not speak. She just smiled. That night I found the message from the organization in our mailbox. They thanked me for my donation. They said my hair would help make a wig for a child. I held the letter for a long time. Somewhere, a girl I did not know would wear something that once belonged to me. She would look in the mirror. She would see hair. She would maybe smile. That thought made my chest feel warm. I went to my room and stood in front of the mirror again. My hair was still short, still simple, but I liked it. Not because it was beautiful, but because it told a story. It told the story of fear. It told the story of scissors. It told the story of a pink hat and a brave girl. Mom knocked on my door. Can I come in? She asked. Yes. She looked at me in the mirror. You seem different these days, she said. Different how? I asked. Stronger, she answered. I smiled. I remembered the first day in the salon. I remembered how scared I felt. I remembered the sound of the first cut. I had thought I was losing something, but I was not losing. I was giving. And when you give, you do not become smaller. You become bigger inside. Before bed, I wrote in my diary, "Hair grows, kindness stays." I closed the notebook. I lay down. My short hair rested lightly on my pillow. It did not cover my face anymore. But I did not need to hide. If someone asked me now, was it worth it, I would say yes, because hair can grow again. But courage, once you find it, stays with you. And sometimes the smallest cut can open the biggest door in your heart.